Gervonta Davis stops Ryan Garcia in 7 rounds, drops him twice, and makes him quit. And I'm not judging Garcia, but I am comparing him because we all know that there are other fighters out there who, in the same situation as Garcia, would have gotten up, for better or for worse. Marcos Maidana against Amir Khan. Remember that body shot? Maidana was writhing around on the canvas in agony. He could have got to one knee and stayed there like Garcia, but Maidana's made of stronger stuff than that. Or how about Darren Barker even against Daniel Geale? And look, some body shots are so crippling that you actually can't get up. But that wasn't the case with Ryan Garcia. He was on one knee and he got up immediately after the 10 count. What we saw on Saturday night was his breaking point. Not just physically, but mentally. Some people say once a quitter, always a quitter. They look at people like Victor Ortiz as examples of that. And while it's probably true in most instances, there are some exceptions. Roberto Duran and Vitaly Klitschko being two that spring to mind. Both quit, but went on to redeem themselves by showing incredible bravery in subsequent fights. Will Ryan Garcia do the same in future? There's a lot of people talking about Garcia being weak due to dehydration. Well, he didn't look weak in that second round. He was putting it on Tank Davis. Looked like he had lots of energy. He was throwing Tank around in the clinches. But that left hand from Davis changed it all. It put Garcia in his box psychologically. He never attacked Davis with that type of confidence again for the remainder of the fight. That allowed Tank the time and space to box and gradually break Garcia down. He hit Garcia with a lot of body shots in the fight if you go back and watch. He was investing downstairs. Before the fight, Garcia said the weight stipulations wouldn't be a problem. He said he doesn't normally rehydrate much above that limit anyway. Sometimes these catch weights and rehydration limits create more of a psychological issue for a fighter than a physical one, especially when things start getting rough in there and you have to dig deep. That's when it can start to play on your mind. Garcia was frustrated because he couldn't land his favorite punch, the left hook. That's something I mentioned pre-fight. It's more difficult to land the left hook on a southpaw than it is on an orthodox fighter. And yes, there are exceptions, but that doesn't disprove the rule. Gervonta Davis isn't James Kirkland. Like the majority of southpaws, he's actually got some slickness about him. He's a short guy who fights side on and stays low. And that makes it very difficult for an orthodox fighter to land the left hook. What Garcia needed was a straight right hand. But again, as I said pre-fight, he's never had much of a straight right hand. If you neutralize his best punch, there isn't much else to worry about. And that's what Davis did. By the 7th round, Garcia was leaking from the nose, got his snot box rocked a few times. He landed a couple right hands on Tank in the previous round, but nothing of any consequence. You could tell by his body language that he was dejected. Tank had him checkmated and Garcia knew it. So when that left hand caught him in the ribs, Garcia took a knee and he said to himself, there's no point getting up. I couldn't catch this guy clean when I was fresh. So what chance do I have now that he's got me hurt? He decided to stay down. A sensible decision from a physical perspective, but mentally, that's going to play on Garcia's mind for perhaps years to come. Never mind the physical punishment he took from Davis, as painful as it was. It's the way he reacted to that punishment. That's what's going to linger the longest in Garcia's mind. That's what's going to make him question himself the most. A former stablemate of his, Andy Ruiz, has already accused him of quitting. That's what's really going to hurt him, the damage to his reputation. I wish the young man nothing but the best, but he's got some challenging times ahead, no doubt. As for Gervonta Davis, sky's the limit. Just did a big pay-per-view, got a nice win. The only downside was the rehydration stuff. That puts an asterisk next to his win in the minds of many people. And you'd assume that the other top guys in the weight class like Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson would not agree to any such stipulation if they fight Davis. Will that mean that Davis will just refuse to fight them? Hopefully not. Tank has been protected for long enough. We all remember when he ducked Lomachenko back in the days. Mayweather Promotions didn't even disguise it. It was blatant. But he's 28 years old now. It's time to take the training wheels off and have him fight other top guys on a level playing field. Haney's got some business to handle against Lomachenko first. If he manages to do that, Davis says he's willing to entertain that fight. Let's hope he fights the winner of Haney Lomachenko, whoever that may be.